Is your business a one-person business? Because that is more difficult, isn't it? When it's
Yeah.
just you doing it, if you don't do it, it's not going to get done. So how are you managing that? How are you managing to be superwoman running a family and a business without running out of time or energy?
You don't.
Oh, okay,
There's
fair enough.
always something
Fast.
falling, and
Yes,
that's I think it's an important message.
right.
You can't, and you shouldn't even want to do everything. If I'm being, if the work is going really well, it means that I'm dedicating a lot of time into it, and so
Yeah,
my kids will be completely, offline. So something's got to give. You can't. There's only so many hours in the day, and so I think we have to not even forgive ourselves, but be conscious that we cannot and should not want to do everything. So we have to, take time and like split the days into several moments where we dedicate ourselves to different things, but not try to do it all because we're going
yes,
to burn out. It's going to, it's not going to go well. Uh, and my business is, of course, completely against everything that I advise my clients, which is completely dependent on me.
yes.
I always say, don't have a business that it's completely dependent on you. Your business should be completely autonomous so that you can go, you can find new
Amazing.
businesses, you can think about businesses. And so my business is none of that, is completely dependent on me. So the way that I have to kind of have my off time is to delegate, and I think delegation is key in any business. And I know it's really hard to like take that leap of faith
Yeah,
when you're delegating, but it's sometimes it's regardless of the referrals that you have or whatever. Sometimes it's just the connection. You either have it or you don't. It could be with someone that you don't know out of anywhere. It could be someone that you really know and then it doesn't go well. So it's kind of luck. And this past year I have been going through the process of delegating a lot of things. So my social media is completely delegated to my marketing team. My newsletter is completely, it's
well,
completely done
outsourced.
with someone else, completely
Yeah,
outsourced. And now I have delegated to the best person I could think of, my oldest daughter.
great. You're
So
bringing her into the family business, right?
yes, because and it's funny, Carl, I'm 29, as you know.
Yes.
So, but at
Only just as
46,
well. Only just,
only
we should
just,
say. Yeah.
only just. So at 46, and I have a lot of abilities. I have experience. I can, I know a lot of technical, difficult things. My marketing team is around 20, 30 years old, and I see in them capacities and abilities that I don't have. I
Yeah.
recognize that, and they in me, right? They want my experience, they want my advice. When I saw my 20-year-old working, I was like, like I'm, these guys are going to take over the world
Hopefully so.
because
Yes.
I mean, I know she knows me well, but I just like through because I have ADHD and stuff, so I cannot be organized, as you know. Organization is like my worst enemy. So, like all the CRM, I just don't have any. I don't have any client relationship management. I don't have like any organization, database of my clients. Okay, what these guys did, because it would be nice, once they have my service a
Absolutely.
few weeks later. Oh, hi, how are you, etc. It's not that bad because all my clients, we are so close that we keep a relationship like in WhatsApp. I mean, so they're never far away from me.
Yeah.
But in any case, if you want to grow and scale, there's going to be a time where it's not this close. So I have to get that done. And she was like, she worked yesterday for almost a full day, and like she completely organized all my CRM.
Wow.
She understood like my chaotic mind because I just threw
Well, she's grown
information
up.
over
She's
onto
grown up
her.
with it. She's grown up with it, to be fair. She's a product of it.
Yes, to be fair. And I was so proud because you want to be your kids to be so much more than
Mm.
you are. And I saw that ability. I always knew because her notebooks were brilliant, like organized in colors, and I never did once notebook throughout my college or my high school, not once, because I couldn't handle writing all that stuff. I didn't have the patience. So I already knew that she was very organized, and I can take now that best of her into my business. So
Wow, how about
you
that?
don't have to be the best at everything.
No,
What you have to do is
find the
find
best.
out exactly and then
Yes, yes,
have them
yes.
on board. That's how I did, my social media. There was this girl that I thought was doing a great job. I got her in my team for the newsletter. The same thing, the girl that I thought, she's doing a great job. I got her on my team. And now I have this, this short period of time where I can have my daughter help me, and she has these amazing abilities, the 20-year-olds that we really need them, so it's just an eye opener. We need these guys. Let's get them on our
Well,
field
there's a few things
because
in what you've just said there. One of them is, isn't it great that you feel confident and impressed by the younger generation who are coming through? Because there's always that feeling, isn't there? Like, oh, they you see these awful caricatures of millennials, don't you? That they're always moaning about something and they're easily hurt and offended and all this sort of stuff. But that is just a sort of, I think, a culture war memery, isn't it? That goes on,
yeah,
and it's always gone on between the generations. And what you're talking about is the upside about how incredibly capable they are.
yeah,
And they are a product of their upbringing and what we've put them through. And that will
yeah,
bring surprises and skills and benefits that we, whilst we're moaning about them sometimes, can't even begin to think of. And I don't know if you're familiar with it. I've been looking at something called the fourth turning and the cycles of history, and the
mm,
generation of millennials and the Gen Zers, I think that new generation of our kids and their kids are going to be like the baby boomers. They're going to have a similar vibe, which is very interesting to imagine,
yes,
isn't it? They are products of their time, just as we are, but they're
yeah,
products of different times to the times that we had, that we go on about as being the best times. Everyone thinks that about the time. It's the only time you've got, that is the
yeah,
time you grew up in, right? And they're coming through with the sort of skills and gifts you're talking about, and I think it's going to be an exciting world in their hands. They're thinking about things we
absolutely.
can't even grasp. They're thinking about going to parts of the world that will be new to us because we're stuck in our ways, aren't we? And they're thinking about working in ways that we can't think of because we're stuck in our ways as well about all of these things. And they're going to be embracing AI like it's just normal, natural, like we embrace the internet, I guess. They're going to be embracing AI. So there's the upside, because I guess we're a bit concerned and worried, aren't we, for our children's future, and we think everything in quite fearful terms. This is the upside you're talking about, and it's very inspiring to hear
Yeah,
it.
because we're limited to our own vision, and
Yes.
they do not have that vision at all. I saw that when I was working at the bank, when every 50-year-old started to leave, and
Yes.
not voluntarily, let me say, but when they started leaving, they started hiring 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
After a month, they left because that kind of rat race, 9 to 5, being sit on a chair for 8 hours straight, it's
Not
not
for
what they're
them.
going to do. It's
No.
not what they're going to. And thank God, because that is, no, working remotely, working from wherever you are, it's a much healthier way to work in every way. I
Bless
mean,
them.
you don't,
Yeah.
the traffic, not having so much pollution because of the cars, time wise, because you don't waste time in the commute, inspiration, uh, relaxed mind, everything. So what they're doing is like exploding with our preconceptions of what work is.
Yes. Is
And
it
like
true as well, Raquel, that they're not so there's this thing I've been hearing about on listening to UK radio about the government encouraging people to work more from home, not less.
yes,
And there's a big sort of furore about that, of like, oh well, people don't work hard when they work from home. And I think that misses the point, because what I think these younger folks, the way they see work is like, well, it's about the task. If I get the task done
exactly.
and I get paid for the task that I agreed with you I was going to complete, what does it matter if I watch 2 hours of TV after I've got that task done? And they're breaking this
Yeah.
this this old
Stigma.
mentality, aren't they?
Yeah.
Of you're only useful if you're sat at a desk for 8 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
people aren't useful if they're sat at a desk for 8 hours, are they? We know that now.
They're breaking the stigma. And I remember 2020, before the COVID, I had like discussion with my director at the time, because I had to do some physical therapy. So 2 days a week I was working from home. And when I started working from home, I was like, pooh, light bulb moment, because I could concentrate. I worked a lot more hours. Like,
Mm.
it was, oh my God, I have to work from home. And we had like days and days of healthy but discussions about this. And then in March, we all came home. And then
Yes.
for those 2 years, it got proven that the productivity skyrocketed with people being at home and working. So I just don't understand what, what was not learned here. I
Yeah.
mean,
Old habits die hard, don't
hello.
they? Yeah, old habits
So,
die hard. And people need, I guess, to experience things, don't they, to understand them often.
but
And we were
even
late to
then,
experience that. Yeah.
if you see the A5, the highways, they're all stuck the same way as
It's
they were
it
like
is
5 years
crazy.
ago.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I really don't. But anyway, I guess it's habit, isn't it? It is habit, and people. There's a strange thing actually about, even though you are stuck in a traffic jam, you are in your own space. But that space, listening to music and it being your own space, could be at home. It could be your home office, couldn't it, rather than a car that's polluting the motorway there.
You could do like a mini yoga session before starting work. You
Yeah.
could have, go peacefully, go put your kids at school and not be rushing with your
Yes.
kids. It's just the change of mentality, and it's working by the task. And mind you, I had one of the most brutal adaptations that I had to do in my life was starting to work, because I was a very outdoors person. I mean, I'm very introvert, but I was like 20, almost 24/7 at the beach. I needed the beach, I needed the sounds, I needed all that. And then suddenly I got put in an office with 20 people between four walls with poor lighting for months. And
Terrifying. Some
that
people
was
love that,
like,
Raquel. Some people is that's their idea of safety, isn't it, and comfort. To me as well, I
it
find that
was
terrifying.
terrible. It was really
You and me both.
brutal, like, in the sense, I was 22 years old, and I was kind of scared at that moment, and I thought, man, did I miss, am I doing the wrong thing here? Maybe I
Mm,
shouldn't have done law school. Maybe I should have done anything else. And then, of course, you adapt, because society and parents and education tell you, no, you have a great job, you're in like Ernst and Young, or you're in a private bank, or whatever. Your job is great, and everyone is telling you this. And you start to you start to think that that's true, but it's not.
yeah.
And so then when you get at the stage where I was, having my third daughter get out of my belly, and I looked at her and I said, I don't care. I mean, I'm going to do whatever I want to do and whatever suits me, because I'm sure I'm going to find something to do. And I don't want to live miserable anymore, because everyone's miserable. You see that. So I think that we really need to support this new generation, that it's much
Absolutely.
more entrepreneurial,
Yeah.
that doesn't want a 9 to 5, that is not going to comply with the rules of, you have to be sitting here, regardless of whether you're working or not, and there's someone over your shoulder looking if you're working or not, which is absolutely ridiculous. And
They get paid
I
to
am,
do that. They get paid to do that. That's their
I
job.
know, but
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, because I could like type all day long and not do anything.
Well, that's right. And this is, it's called presenteeism, isn't it? The
Yeah,
empty, there was a book written about it a long time ago, The Empty Raincoat. And back in the days of, the old dark days of corporate UK, I think, is that people used to hang their coat up in their
leave it
office.
there. Yeah,
It's like, I am here. I may be wandering about or down the pub or in the
but I
canteen or
am
something,
here.
but this is the sign that I am here and something might be going on, so you don't need to challenge me. And thank goodness. I mean, that seems like such a dim, dark, and grey picture of work. And we are becoming, I think we are getting smarter about it. I want to bring Nunu. Nunu, you ready? Give us a thumbs up if you're ready to join us, because I'm sure you'll have something to add to this very exciting conversation. Nunu's here, everybody. How lovely to have.
Hello, good morning,
Hi,
everyone. Good morning,
Hi,
Raquel.
Nunu. How are you?
hi.
He's got an
Quite
aura.
well.
He's got an aura. Look at him.
Yeah, well,
Have
I'm
to
at
get
the
one of
dock,
those.
but just
Wow.
happened.
Yes, yeah, perfect, perfect. And I brought you on early into the show because I know you've got exciting ideas about the world of work and how things can be done differently. It is
Uh-huh.
so different now, and I know you run a company, you run an organization, you head an organization, you're a manager, you're a boss, and those things are not that important to you in many ways. You're about the relationships, you're about getting the job done, and I think you're part of this revolution that Raquel's also part of changing the way we work, because it's about the result in the end, isn't it? It's not about the process of like being sat at a desk or putting this many hours in. It's getting the job done, and for those of us who are lucky enough to be in an industry where you can quantify what that is, you might as well get it done, enjoy your life, and get paid for that. And like, I don't know, short circuit all of that. What's your view on that, Nuno? Having heard this part of the conversation that Raquel and I were having.
So the hi James. So
You're welcome.
the way of in insurance, how we are working today, I have announced this 3 years before COVID. And when I announced to my team, just to advise them that this is my perspective, my point of view, they just they didn't fire me because they cannot do that. But they start a private joke about me, which he still is keep being, that I'm eating too much mushrooms. And this bring us to that we have a trophy in at our office, that once someone has an idea, is the we give the trophy, and the trophy is a mushroom. So I believe that instead of fancy offices
Yes.
and have everyone together in the same building, it's about uh, entrepreneurs or companies needs to start looking to their personal as everyone is an entrepreneur.
Oh, okay.
And the people needs to be themselves as an entrepreneur, so they are not working to that company, they are putting at the company's service their competencies.
Yes.
And what I think that for me it's key when I hire someone is attitude.
Yeah.
So if they have the commitment, because at least I don't have the kind of people or person that is looking for what everyone is doing. So when you said, Carl, that it's about having the job done, it's about that.
Yeah.
I I don't mean you are not having a good day today and you need to go to the beach or just go to shopping. Okay, go. But and you want to work today at overnight. Okay, it's not a problem to me. It's about balancing professional and personal lives. So
Well,
yes, we cannot have everyone working overnight. Is not supposed, because otherwise no one will be to answer
answering
the
the phone.
calls.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's about commitment. It's about personal competencies, much more than where you are located, how fancy is the office. It's about service. What you are, what the personal is doing for the company's clients on behalf of the company, because
Mhm.
they are the front of the office. Is not
Yes.
the administration or the direction. No, who is really running the companies are the personnel that is handling on a daily
The
daily
interaction. interactions. Yeah, the interactions with
clients.
the clients.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've definitely chosen the right pair of people to talk about this and the future of work here on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. Before you leave us, Raquel, we're basically talking about delegation, aren't we? Within the context of, the future of work and how young people are dealing with that situation and challenge, really, in many ways as well. The other part of delegation, of course, is letting go, isn't it? So it's all very well to have these new futuristic ideas about how we might operate, but it's not always easy for the entrepreneur or the founder of the company, even though they can intellectually process that and say, yes, I'm going to infuse my front line with my service ethic, and then I'm going to step back and be a mastermind. They can't always do that, and they sometimes find themselves tinkering at the front line still and not being able to let go. How do you advise your clients to begin that process of letting go?
That is a telltale sign that you are not secure in your entrepreneurship side.
Right. Okay.
If you need to control other people, if you don't have faith, if you think that you're the only one that knows how to do things correctly, if you think that you're the one that knows how to do things the best, step away, man, because you are the worst person in the world to have a company that's going to grow. So that is kind of a psychological ego evaluation. And, micromanagement kills a company, kills any entity. And so it's a matter of confidence, but not before being a matter of confidence in the people that you work with, it's a matter of self-confidence of the boss, of the person that is in charge.
Very good.
So if that person is knowledgeable enough to know that they don't know everything, and that there are people with better skills than them to do certain things, then that person is wise enough to be managing a team of various glorious people, because you not only delegate, but you need to elevate. When you delegate, you delegate to make those people shine, to give them the time and the space to show how they work, to show how brilliant they can be, and to also be proud of their conquests, of whatever they do. So if you have any difficulty delegating, I would step back and think about my life, think about my ego, think about trust issues that I
Very
might have,
interesting. Very interesting.
and then continue. Because I've seen, and in the past year, I've seen numerous examples of terrible management because they micromanaged. In the end, they thought that they were the best ones, and it's not. It's exactly the opposite. So first, have a mental assessment to see if you have your self-confidence in the right place, because once you do, you will realize that you don't have to be the best at everything. You're not. There are a lot of people that are much better than you, and go get those people, because if you do, you will grow you'll go to the moon, essentially.
That's amazing. And I guess if you're not that person, you could also own that. It's like I do like micromanaging. I'm always going to be a small business. I'll run it myself, and I'll stick to that. And but
Or
knowing
you'll run it to shit.
do you think that's the inevitable outcome of somebody who can't let
Yes,
go? Okay,
I really do.
that's radical. That's radical. Okay, you can't scale or grow, can you? If that's your mindset. I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. You might just accept that you've got a small business or a hobby and leave it
I mean,
there.
even small business, Carl. Can you handle marketing, accounting, law, human resource, everything of your company, and manage clients and CRM
No.
and your website? And you can't. If you
So be
think
an
that you
employee.
do,
That's an employee mindset, then I guess, isn't it,
exactly.
rather than an entrepreneurial mindset? Okay, fair enough.